EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for December 17th, 2020. We're going to be in cleanup mode today with the winter storm exiting very early this morning. This is actually backing up to 5 o'clock in the morning where we had some sleet that was moving into these areas right in here, and that changed over to snow before it ended. So give you a little bit of snow here on top of that sleet. First, you had a big thump of snow on the front end, and then you had the sleet come in for several hours. There was actually a lull in there where it wasn't doing anything. A big dry slot worked in eastern Pennsylvania. That was always a wild card of something to happen, which is kind of why we went in the lower end of the ranges, and we got took a lot of heat for that because we had lower numbers than just about everybody, and it is what it is. We try to factor in the chance that we have a little bit of mixing coming in here, and also the chance for a dry slot to work in, and that did in fact work in to eastern Pennsylvania. Actually got up pretty high into northeast Pennsylvania, a little bit further than we thought it would get. So that cut down on some of the totals, like around the Wilkes-Barre area, Luzerne County. Some of those areas still got hit hard, but just not as hard as they were projected to be. But most areas did pretty well, especially in southeastern areas. The Philadelphia area did get almost 6 inches of snow before it changed over to other precipitation types, sleet, freezing rain, and even some rain for a time. But it does look like this is going to be pulling away very early. Some leftover early morning snow showers, and then that'll be out of here. We're going to be turning partly cloudy today. Here's a look at the European model from last night, and this is finally adjusted the idea that you had this, not only this sleet and freezing rain here, but you had a dry air wedge that worked up pretty far to the north, all the way up to the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area. So it's a little further north than it was expected to go, and then this cold conveyor belt that went around the outside was much further oriented north. So if you went just north of the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area, up toward the Pennsylvania-New York border, places like Bradford County and Susquehanna County, all the way back to Williamsport State College, they got hammered. So that was your 20-plus range there. So it just shifted a little bit further northwest, and that's because of that dry slot that worked in. Again, those dry slots are very unpredictable. There's nothing anybody can do other than mention the fact there could be a dry slot appearing at some point, and that's exactly what it did. The dry slot was caused by this, before this area low pressure took over as the primary low up here. There was an upper level low that was sitting back here that was kind of stealing energy from one and the other, and it wasn't really handing it off fast enough. So get a little bit of a dry slot in between these two until that transfer occurs, and it finally did, but at that point, the system was kind of winding down overnight. Did change back to snow because of that upper level low, but we had we had that little bit of a dry slot in the middle that cut that down a little bit. So European model at 18Z last night did cut this down a little bit, but these are still in the beginning parts of our ranges. I mean, it's we had 10 to 15 in a lot of these areas here in this middle area here, and the beginning of those ranges were met. So, if it's 10.5 inches fall and we had 10 to 15, that's still verifying. It might be the lower end of that. And I understand that some people will look at 10 to 15 and they assume 15, not the 10. I get that. That's just that happens all the time. And I get comments about that all the time. Oh, well, you had 14 to 20. So we said we're getting 20. Now we're getting 10. No, that's not how it works. There's a range for a reason, and that's to account for the uncertainties with mixed precipitation and also some dry slots that work in. And that's why there's a range. It's why we don't say, okay, you're going to get exactly 14 inches. We're not going to do that, okay? And nobody would do that because it would be really stupid. But here's where your heaviest accumulations were, from State College all the way up through Williamsport, up into, again, Bradford, Susquehanna counties, just north of the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area. But you still got a decent snowfall in those areas, and many areas of those up there are over a foot. So nobody should be upset by any of these snowfall totals. It's December. Climatologically speaking, this is not normal for the month of December to have something this big. Most areas across our entire region are now above average for the entire month, for the month as a whole in December, what normal is supposed to be in just one day. So this is a very impressive storm for the month of December. We're moving on from this now and moving on to the next week ahead here, and this system again pulled away very early. It's going to remain cold the next couple of days, and we're going to have temperatures kind of not really getting above freezing in many interior locations at all for the straight through Saturday. And then we're going to expect partly cloudy skies here on Friday, partly to mostly sunny actually here on Friday. And then we'll call partly to mostly cloudy on Saturday. We have a frontal boundary weak system associated with that moving toward the area. Could be a few snow showers with this as it moves through overnight. going into Sunday morning for the interior locations, mainly northern and northern interior. Could be a snow shower or two with that. Not a real big deal. And then once we get into later Sunday, temperatures are going to turn actually a little bit milder and get back closer to what near average is for this time of year for not only Sunday, but also Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. But we do have a system passing off to our south here on Monday. Right now, it looks like it's going to stay there. We'll keep an eye on it, though. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are all partly cloudy days. And that'll be ahead of the next system that comes in toward the end of next week. I'm EPA WA meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That a drought look for December 17th, 2020. Have a great Thursday.